All right, Craig, let's get to it here with Christian Pulisic. You know the news. Raheem Sterling was linked to Chelsea over the weekend. U.S. fans saw that and thought, okay, this is bad news on multiple fronts. One, in the short term, it's not going to be good for his playing time, and I don't think it bodes well maybe long term for Christian Pulisic either. Are U.S. fans wrong for thinking that? I mean, it's bad news for Pulisic here, isn't it?
Well, we were talking about this in the ESPNFC show at length for the last couple of days, primarily because there's not a lot else going on at the moment, and it is quite a big story because Raheem Sterling has been front and foremost for Man City in England in recent years. He played, I think, 47 times last year with 17 goals, 8 assists, but not all starts. I think 32 starts. And there's some sort of frustration within him that with the arrival of new players, that might be reduced even more. Now, I hear you. Why are we talking about Raheem Sterling? Let's get to Pulisic. But it's all part of the story, and I think he wants to sort of move on. But why all this negativity? I thought the American sports fan was supposed to be full of positivity and, you know, looking forward and going to be the best. But every time around Christian Pulisic, it's always got to be something negative. Here's the deal, American soccer fans. If you want your players to be big time in the big league like this guy, then when you move to big clubs at elite level, guess what? There is competition for places. And bearing in mind Chelsea's position, Sebi, last year, a long way off, Liverpool and City, bearing in mind they've got new ownership who want to make some sort of statement, there looks that there's going to be even more competition for Mr. Pulisic.
Yeah. I mean, the point about competition is totally fair. I think that's expected, and we've heard a lot of angst from American fans over that. The reason there's, I think, Craig, a little bit more angst than usual is today, right now, we are 5 months from the World Cup, and you know exactly how important Christian Pulisic is to the U.S. men's national team. So pretend you're his advisor, right? He's 23 years old. He's got 5 months to the World Cup. Let's say Chelsea do bring in Raheem Sterling. Would you tell Pulisic to stay at Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, he played a sufficient amount last year. He had injuries along with Ziyech and others. I think he had kind of similar game time to them, maybe a little less. Was a little bit more productive. I don't know. I'm not Thomas Tuchel. I don't know how much he's going to use him, and I keep hearing the same thing. Why is he not playing more? Why is he not in the team? What's this sort of anti-Americanism? All this sort of nonsense. And look, he didn't get regular game time under Tuchel so far. He didn't get it under Frank Lampard. He didn't get it at the end under Lucien Favre at Dortmund. He has to stay clear of injuries. And this is a concern for players at these clubs with big squads who rotate when you have a World Cup. But please, 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 this is not anybody trying to derail the US men's national team attempt at being successful at a World Cup. This is not. Managers survive and thrive on results. They play the best team in their mind whenever they select a side. They don't sit there on a Friday, Sebi, and go, oh, how can we screw up the American players today? It just doesn't work like that. And so there is a frustration, I know. And I tell you who the worst is. Our former colleague and friend over in Los Angeles, Mr. Max Bretos, loves stirring the pot. He can cry more than anybody. He must be keeping the handkerchief business alone, thriving with his tears.
Wow, Max Bretos of Maxenberg fame getting a shout-out here on Futbol Americas. We were just seeing, Craig, the full screen of the stats of Christian Pulisic. It's quite a long body of work here at this point at Chelsea, right? 3 years since he was brought over back in 2019. How would you qualify like his time so far, the 3 years that we've seen? Do you think he's at the level to be a Chelsea player? Because I think at least in some corners or maybe even big parts of the Chelsea fan base, that question is still out there.
I think if he wants to make a mark on a regular basis, he's probably going to have to drop down one level. And I don't mean one level, i.e. the Championship. I mean a level within the Premier League. And whether that's a West Ham or a Newcastle or whoever it is, you look at the game time that he's had, You look at the possibility of Sterling and others coming. You look at Havertz, Werner's still there. I mean, some of these players might go. Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, and then Christian himself. Some of these players might go, but then they might not. And so then you have to ask the question, how much game time am I going to get? Am I prepared to take a drop in wages? Am I prepared to move on and take a loan? It's all things you've got to juggle, and I would be concerned about the game time for him. I think he'll get some. Whether he'll get enough, that's another matter.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.